By the late 1950s, the United States was gripped by an existential panic. The Cold War had pushed the country into a frantic race to dominate outer space, a contest that quickly became central to American mythology. That panic spiked in October 1957. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik, a small metal spear that became the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth. 4 years later, the threat escalated. The Soviets sent cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin into space, completing a full orbit around the planet. The United States was visibly losing the space race. Catching up required an immense technological leap, demanding calculations far beyond what existing machines could reliably process. This global competition forced a shift in government priorities. To close the gap, the military and space programs suddenly needed the most capable mathematical minds available, regardless of their background. The center of the American response was the NASA headquarters and research campus in Langley, Virginia. But this location presented a glaring paradox. Langley sat deep within the Jim Crow South, a region strictly governed by state and local laws that enforced racial segregation. The day-to-day reality of this environment was inescapable. Even as the agency expanded its workforce, managers installed metal bathroom signs reading "Colored Girls" and maintained segregated workspaces across the campus. The U.S. government was attempting to engineer the future of humanity while simultaneously holding a massive portion of its brightest minds to the oppressive legal codes of the past. The massive demand for rapid calculations during and after World War II forced the agency to look past its traditional hiring pools. They began recruiting highly skilled Black women for the critical role of human computers, mathematicians who manually processed complex aerodynamic data. Dorothy Vaughan recognized early that electronic machines would soon replace human computers. She mastered the programming languages of the new IBM systems, eventually breaking through to become NASA's first African-American manager. Mary Jackson faced a different barrier. Her path to becoming a certified engineer was blocked because the required advanced courses were only offered at an all-white high school. Jackson took her fight to the legal system. She successfully petitioned a local judge, persuading him to grant her special permission to attend the segregated school. This legal victory allowed her to complete her training and, in 1958, become NASA's first Black female engineer. Slightly slower. These women used their specialized talent as leverage. By making their expertise indispensable, they forced the agency to bypass its own social barriers to meet its engineering goals. Katherine Johnson was another mathematician whose unique genius for analytical geometry allowed her to solve trajectory problems that stumped her colleagues. To ensure her work was accurate, Johnson demanded a seat at the table. She insisted on attending the all-white, all-male space task group briefings to get the data she needed firsthand. Her expertise became a matter of life and death. America was preparing to send astronaut John Glenn into Earth orbit to match the Soviet achievement. The physics involved were incredibly complex. Calculating a safe orbital path required accounting for constantly shifting variables, math that the early mechanical computers often struggled to process reliably. John Glenn was aware the mechanical computer's output could be unreliable. He refused to trust his life to the machine's calculation. Before he would agree to the mission, Glenn demanded that Katherine Johnson manually verify the equations to confirm the flight path. For the duration of this historic mission, the immediate need for mathematical accuracy took priority over racial prejudice. The mission could only move forward once Johnson's expertise was applied. Johnson's numbers were correct. On February 20th, the Mercury Redstone spacecraft successfully launched and completed its orbit, stabilizing America's position in the space race. The successful mission led to massive national celebrations, with John Glenn and the astronauts receiving ticker-tape parades and public hero worship. This public victory occurred while the civil rights movement was intensifying in the streets, highlighting the contrast between the nation's technological progress and its social divisions. NASA's reliance on these mathematicians created a pragmatic opening for institutional change. The agency began to integrate its workforce not necessarily as a moral initiative, but because it could not function without their specialized intellect. For decades, these women remained hidden from the public narrative. Often standing out in jewel-toned dresses amidst a sea of white shirts, they performed the foundational work that made the space program possible. The American effort to reach the stars was built on the ground by these mathematicians, who mapped out the orbit while simultaneously navigating the rigid social boundaries.